Welcome. I am Sonia from Healing Point, and welcome back to the Flow of Life series, a journey towards deeper connection, awareness, and wisdom-inspired living. In our first conversation, we explored the invisible current that carries us. We looked at the understanding that life did not begin with us. Life reached us through many generations, through people we knew, through people whose names we may never know, and through stories of strength, survival, challenge, courage, and resilience. The first movement with reconnecting with the flow of life is recognizing life reached me. And today we take the first and the next step. We explore one of the deepest human needs and one of the most important systemic principles, belonging. Because every person carries a quiet question somewhere within. Do I have a place? Am I accepted here? Do I belong? And from a systemic perspective, belonging is not something we earn. It is something that already exists. You took life, and it already exists. Yet, the search for belonging continues. From the moment we arrive in this world, belonging matters. A child does not enter life asking, am I successful enough? Have I achieved enough? Have I proven myself? The first movement is much simpler. The child looks for connection, for recognition, for a place. The child's deepest need is, I am one of you. This need for belonging is so powerful because for generations before us, belonging was connected to survival, being a part of the family, being a part of the group, being connected to others. This ensured life could continue. So, within us, there is a very old wisdom. Connection matters, belonging matters, our place matters. And now I would like to look at the systemic view of belonging. From the systemic perspective, every family system carries a natural movement towards completeness. Everyone who belongs has a place. Not because every action was right. Not because every choice was healthy. Not because everything that happened should be accepted. Simply because they existed. The system remembers. The flow of life includes everyone who was part of creating the story. The easy ones, the difficult ones, the successful ones, the struggling ones, the celebrated ones, the forgotten ones. The ones we speak about with pride. The ones whose names are surrounded by silence. Everyone has a place. And I want to look at what happens when someone or something is excluded. One of the ways of the flow of life becomes interrupted is through exclusion. Sometimes people disappear from the family story, maybe because of shame, grief, conflict, painful choices, lost secrets, circumstances that were difficult to face, and even more. A family may silently communicate, we do not speak about this. We do not remember this person. or that part of the story doesn't belong. Often, this happens as a way of coping. Families exclude because something was painful, something was overwhelming, or something felt impossible to hold at the time. Yet, what is excluded does not always disappear. Sometimes it continues seeking recognition. And I want to talk a little bit about how exclusion can continue forward. Many people carry feelings they cannot explain. A sadness that does not seem connected to their own life. A responsibility that feels too heavy. A sense of not being allowed to fully succeed. A feeling of being on the outside, even when they are surrounded by people. From a systemic perspective, we become curious. And instead of asking, what is wrong with me, we ask, what wants to be acknowledged? Sometimes the individual experience is connected to something larger, something that belongs to the greater story. A person, a loss, a forgotten experience, unresolved movement. The flow of life invites us to look with compassion. Belonging does not mean agreement, and this is important. Acknowledging belonging does not mean we have to approve of everything. Sometimes people hear, give everyone a place, and they wonder, does that mean I have to accept what someone did? No. There's a difference between acknowledging reality and approving behavior. Acknowledgement simply says, this happened, this person existed, this is part of the story. When we stop fighting reality, energy becomes available for something new. Wisdom begins with seeing clearly. And I wonder what it would be like finding our own place. One of the greatest gifts of belonging is that it allows us to find our own place. When someone else has their rightful place, we no longer have to carry roles that were never ours. We do not have to replace someone, represent someone, fix something from another generation. We can simply stand where life placed us as ourselves, connected to what came before, free to move towards what comes next. The flow of life moves in a natural direction. Those who came before stand behind, and those who come after move forward. When we find our place, we are supported by the strength behind us rather than trapped by the pain behind us. I want to repeat this. When we find our place, we are supported by the strength behind us rather than trapped by the pain behind us. Remember that somewhere in your generation, something went well for you to be in this place right here, right now. So take a moment. Allow yourself to become present. Imagine yourself standing in the long river of life. Behind you are many generations. Some stories you know, many you do not. And imagine for a moment that everyone has a place. Those who succeeded, those who struggled, and those who were remembered, and those who were forgotten. You do not need to fix their lives. You do not need to carry their choices. Simply acknowledge you belong to the story, and you have your place, and I have mine. Notice what changes when everyone can stand where they belong. Now gently bring your attention back to yourself and notice these words. I belong. I received life. I take my place. And from this place, I move forward. Wisdom-inspired living begins when we stop trying to remove parts of the story in order to find peace. Wholeness does not come from having a perfect place. Wholeness does not come from having a perfect past. It comes from having a different relationship with the past. We begin recognizing there was pain, there was also strength. There were challenges, there was also resilience. There were losses, there was also life continuing. And when we allow everything its rightful place, something inside us can relax. We no longer need to fight what came before. We can receive the wisdom and continue inward. Thank you for joining me for this second conversation in the Flow of Life series. Today we explored belonging, finding our place within the greater story. And as you move through your week, I invite you to reflect. Who or what in my story has not yet been given a place? And perhaps even more personally, where have I not yet allowed myself to fully belong? In the next video, we will explore receiving love and opening to support instead of survival. We will look at why many of us learn to survive life rather than receive life, and how connecting with support restores the natural flow of life. Thank you for being here. And if you have enjoyed this and you feel, somebody should listen to this, please share this. And also, if you haven't done so, subscribe. Yes, I know I'm talking the normal YouTube lingo, but it really does help also if you give a like or even place a comment. I really appreciate that. May you continue recognizing your place, your connection, and the wisdom that has always been available towards wisdom-inspired living. And until we meet again, be safe.